Hey guys, welcome back to the range. Today I'm doing a video that, I'm gearing up to do a video that I wanted to do for you guys. Put a notation in my phone, and the notation is Y137. And I realized that I needed to kind of give you guys a heads up of the full picture of why I prefer a 13.7 for my go-to. Okay, so we'll begin here. This is a Black Hawk discreet Homeland Security case, some goofball name. This is the one for the MP5, or this is for the MP5K. Very, very small case, and this will actually accommodate a 7.5-inch AR-15 with this buttstock collapsed. If you kind of cant it at a very slight angle, it'll fit inside of this case. It carries my chest rig up front, and my chest rig is a First Beer Seeker 612. They're no longer made, but you can still find them in limited quantities on eBay. And then I have a whole bunch of dry packs in here, like gobs and gobs of dry packs in here. And the reason for that is this chest rig gets worn against my body, and while I air it out before I put it away, it still is going to have a little bit of residual humidity left to it. So I keep it in this particular pocket with a whole bunch of, like, every time you buy a pair of shoes, it's got a dry pack. You buy a shirt, it's got a dry pack. You buy anything, it's got a dry pack. Save them. Put them in one of those Cabela's or an ammo case that's got the lockdown. And what it does for you is it gives you the ability to draw from that whenever you've got something. Like, for example, you've got an article, a clothing article from a relative that you want to preserve. Put it in a freezer bag, a Ziploc freezer bag, with a desiccant dry pack in there, and you'd be surprised that over a long period of time, that bag will not develop any humidity inside, and it'll preserve that article, clothing, a hat, or whatever from a loved one. So anyways, I keep my chest rig in here. I'm not wearing it at the moment because what I'm doing here first is something different. But the main compartment has the rifle broken down. I take the lower receiver and I drop it in here. I stick a mag in it to keep it from, because this is plastic, but this is aluminum. So by sticking a magazine in it, it isolates it from making contact, from making aluminum to aluminum contact with the rifle and causing gouging. I don't particularly care about scratches. I care about causing damage to things. So by isolating the lower receiver like this, it doesn't move around and it's trapped. It's pinched pretty hard. The other thing that has to be taken into account is your weapon light. I use an X300 Ultra UB, and you really need to isolate this light, because if it turns on, and this one has, unfortunately, because I wasn't being very disciplined with it, and it turns on and it'll burn out your battery. But what it can do is it can damage the light, or it can even start a fire, because these suckers will get hot. So making sure that this is isolated in a padded case, and when this case is traveling with me, it's actually flipped upside down so that this portion is sitting upward as opposed to the chest rig pushing downward. And because the way this light works is, if you press forward, it's on. If you toggle down, it's on. If you push up, it's on. And it's right side, left side, it's identical. And by the way, guys, I try not to turn this light on if I can avoid it, because this is a fighting rifle. It's a training rifle, but it's also a fighting rifle, so I try not to turn this on if I can avoid it. So anyways, isolating the light makes a big difference in the battery, the lifespan of the battery. So this bag allows me to break down the rifle, and the reason that matters is if you're traveling and you're traveling in and out of hotels, it's nice to be able to isolate, it's nice to be able to reduce what I refer to as your visual signature when you're going in and out of hotels with tactical gear. You don't become the guy who's telegraphing gun, because you've made it a point not to have items on you that identify you as a person who's carrying weaponry, because you may not think they are, but I promise you the turds are watching. There are people who camp out in parking lots of hotels. There are theft rings who camp out in parking lots of hotels. And if your vehicle has stickers on it that identify your vehicle as Patriot, the reason I spat that out is I go to classes and there's always that guy. And he rolls into the parking lot and he's got the two-way sticker, he's got the 6-hour sticker, the Glock sticker, the Don't Tread on Me tag, and then they're startled why the next day their vehicle's been vandalized. Dude, you're advertising gun store. Come get it here. Well, I didn't leave anything in the vehicle. I know you didn't leave anything in the vehicle, but the bad guys will break the windows just to see if you did leave something in the vehicle because they don't care. So it amazes me that I have to say that to men who are in their 40s, but dear Lord, use some good sense. By the way, notice I didn't say common sense. Use good sense because common sense these days seems to be stupidity. Use good sense. So, now somebody's going to get butthurt on behalf of the idiots in the comment section and they're going to get stupid. Hot Pockets. Okay, let's get to this. What I'm doing initially, because it's been a minute since I've touched my rifle, is I'm going to work on the Tier 1 Citizen rifle standards, and these are available for free on my website. Here are the pistol standards, here are the rifle standards. All this is $2 plastic clipboard from Walmart, and you just cut out a section with a jigsaw, sand the edges, and then tape the card that is free on my website for you to print off. You cut it in half, rifle one side, pistol the other side, tape it to it, and my suggestion to you is set it up so that when you need it, rifle drills, and everything is here. When I rotate it, everything is upright on this side, as opposed to rotating it and then having to do that. So do it in such a manner so that it's always a forward rotation, because invariably you're gonna be talking, you're gonna drop this, and you're gonna pick it up and go, oop, that's not the side I'm on, that's the side I'm on. And it's nice to be able to just flip it forward as opposed to flip it forward and then reorient. The little things matter. Okay, so this set of drills, or this set of tasks, is done from 10 yards with the rifle. And it is a good baseline series of tasks that I worked up a while back to work on the mechanics, the body mechanics and the hand mechanics that are required for handling a rifle. All right, let's get to it. I got a little sidetracked at the truck, so let me answer what the whole point of this was. Why 13.7? 13.7 has really become my go-to because it is a rifle setup that is extremely capable. I have found that this rifle is consistently capable with standard M193 55 grain out to 300 yards with the slightest bit of effort. I have the ability to look at the threat and hit the threat. And this setup, as you see it, has become my favorite. Daniel Defense sights they're designed in a locked up position at all times. They're not foldable at all. Daniel Defense, these are known as rock and lock. So rock and lock sights, rock and lock T1 mount with the extra riser so that it's a lower third co-witness. Surefire X300 UB. By the way, guys, I funded this entire weapon. None of this stuff has been given to me, so if I'm running this, there's a reason. The Bravo Company manufacturing KMR, not MCMR, which is an M-lock, but KMR. Why KMR? Because the rail panels actually lock on and stay on. MCMR panels seem to peel off very easily. M-lock, for those that don't know, KMR came around when, I'm probably going to get the date wrong. I'm not even going to tell you what, I'm not even going to bother trying with the date, but John Noveski was the originator of the KMR. When he died, he had a tragic accident, and when he died, the patent, I believe how this goes, the patent was in his name and only his name, and all of a sudden, upon his death, the patent kind of went, and it just sort of, what now, kind of a thing. And before you knew it, KMR was out there. Well, Magpul made their own version called M-Lock because they wanted to have their own series of of accessories. So they made their own version of a rail system, because until these systems came about, you either had Picatinny, which was Picatinny rail segments, which is stuff across the top here, and it was all the way around. So you had the T rail, the L, the R, and the B, and top, left, bottom, right. Okay, so and which is why these are called T markings, because this is the top rail. And so it became the standard. Well, when the BCM, man, I can't think today. When the BCM KMR, the original KMRs were like magnesium aluminum, I think it was, and they weighed nothing. They were the most amazing handguards, and they were paperweight. They were so thin and not thin, they were so light and yet so strong. And what it did was it reduced the fulcrum of your rifle, and this is a fairly good fulcrum. The fulcrum of your rifle should always be inside the mag well. There are some rifles that are so front heavy that when you hold the rifle it does this to you, and it wears you out. And it's also aggravated by the K-grips. Everybody wants to run K-grips now. K-grips are the ones that they're not angled like this, they're angled like this. And those of you who have a K-grip may not even be aware that there is another option out there. This is a Myad, which I'm sure stands for something, and I can't remember what it is anymore, but it's Magpul. And when you hold an AR-15, you should be able to hold it like a handgun. Well, the K-grips make you feel like you're always doing this with the gun. So it aggravates the problem already. Your rifle's always tipping out of your grasp, and you can never really feel like you've got control of the gun. And this becomes a problem if you ever have to shoot one-handed. Excuse me. Also, if you're ever forced to do any administrative tasks with the gun, and you can't get a solid grip on the gun because that K-grip is always tipping it forward, it becomes a problem. The K-grips were designed for patrol. Basically, it allowed you to have the gun, it allowed you to have your wrist in a more relaxed position for patrolling, because the vast majority of what we do with guns is carry them on patrol rather than shoot with them. So the K-grip has its validity in that respect. The other thing is, for those who like to run with their stock collapsed in pretty tight, the K-grip takes this position here and relaxes it this way. It makes sense. I don't like K-grips. If you didn't guess, I don't like K-grips. Whenever I would get review guns, I would pull the K-grips off, and I would piss off the manufacturers, and I would write it in the article, and the editor would say, hey, you may want to leave it on. No, because I want to give the honest review, and K-grips are crap. So, I chose this setup for a reason. It gives me everything I need. It also keeps my head position high enough on the stock so that I'm not getting down and pushing my hearing pro like that, which has become a problem. And as I've grown older, the irritation from that constant whack, whack, whack that was getting in was just worn me out. So now I choose to go with a slightly taller setup. So the barrel is a 13.7 drilled pin and welded. This is a Ballistic Advantage Hansen barrel, 4150 chrome moly vanadium, nothing special, 1 in 7 twist, 5.56. And then this is a Surefire War Comp, which is absolutely the best compensator I've ever shot. It creates a forward drag on the gun to compensate the recoil, to compensate the effect of the bolt carrier group going to the back, and also just the rifle wanting to push to the rear. And then the cuts on the top here will counteract when you pull the trigger and the rifle goes boom and begins to go like this. This goes and pushes up, and what you get is this effect. I mean, you get an effect where the rifle is such a pleasure to shoot. It's a very fast, flat shooting rifle. Your recoil impulse is very predictable, very consistent. And I just realized I'm not wearing my shooting glasses. Hang on. I got all set up and just jumped right into it. The recoil impulse with this flash hider, with this compensator, and it is a compensator, is a pleasure. Yes, I actually just said it. A pleasure of a rifle to shoot. And so the War Comp does everything that people have difficulty paying that price tag. The War Comp does as advertised. Okay, take that from someone who's been building rifles forever. The War Comp does as advertised. The lower receiver is an Aero Precision. Do not buy Aero Precision products. They are dog crap. I've had so many problems buying stuff from Aero in the last couple of years. Their quality control has gone in the garbage can. This is a very, very old Aero Precisions, but no, I would not recommend Aero Precision anymore. Same with the upper. This is an Aero Precision upper receiver. No, I do not recommend Aero Precision anymore. Quality control is in the toilet. They're welcome to say otherwise. I have the chain of emails with their customer service where they totally drop the ball. Customer service absolutely dropped the ball when I tried to communicate with them. It was such an embarrassing crap show. That company used to be something special, not anymore. Mil-spec tube. In fact, I think this is a Spikes Tactical. Mil-spec tube. ALG. No, I'm sorry. This is the Geisley SSA trigger. Super semi-auto. The Super semi-auto Enhance should be relegated to precision rifles only, guys. Do not be putting an SSAE in a combat rifle. You'll accidentally shoot someone, so don't. And then this is just your standard mil-spec ambi safety. Sequence Precision billet mag release button, and then Norgon ambi catch. This stuff has become so commonplace for me, I have to like think about what it is anymore. And then mag pull. This is the CTR. And of course the Tier 1 Citizen 2-point sling, which is it's my favorite. And it renders a rifle that is in the 6-pound-ish range, as you see it, minus the ammo, of course, which is surprising considering that this is legally a 16.1-inch barreled rifle. So it has SBR balance to it, rifle performance. I can consistently hit out to 300 with very little effort. And because of that War Comp, when it comes to faster shooting in tight quarters, it gives you a lot of control, which you're going to see here in a minute. So anyways, this is the rifle that I've chosen, even though for years I've been this guy who's been into short-barreled rifles, 7.5s, 10.3s, 11.5s, 11.3s. Oh, and this one also is not a, there's no adjustable gas block on this gun because, ironically, and I think it's a combination of the War Comp. The War Comp pulling forward changes things on the rifle. But ironically, this rifle doesn't need gas balancing. Like mil-spec, this is just your standard H buffer in here. And this rifle eats M193, which is a phenomenally hard-hitting round. And it eats it up like it's nothing. The recoil impulse just disappears with this rifle. It's a lot of fun to shoot. But what I find with this rifle is if I have a class in wherever, Ohio, whatever, I can just throw this in a bag and off I go. No travel letter. The nice thing is we have all seen the gun grabbers. Guys, stop fretting. Okay, they're trying to get you to pay attention somewhere else, folks. They're not getting the guns unless you actually give them to them. Stop acting like you're coming for our guns. Yeah, they've been telling this. They've been telling that to us for generations. They only get it if you give it to them. So, anyways, let's get to work. Yeah, 13.7 is the way to go. All right. I can't really say it's cold anymore because I have fired the gun. Ready position, fire one shot. Okay, ready position. Ready position with the rifle is here for me. Some of you like to do this. I get it. That's your call. This is slow. No matter what anybody tells you, this is much, much slower than this. From this position, I'm already making contact with my shoulder and my face, and I can completely see, like, there are some bushes out here in front of me. And if these, in fact, we'll just do it this way. This guy's at 10 yards. If I'm looking at him here, I'm in a fighting stance. I can completely see the base all the way to his head. which means from his feet to his head. So I can look at stance, demeanor, facial expressions, hands, everything is clear. If I have to shoot him from here at safety off, dead center in the heart. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to go from here, out, and back. It's just immediately up and fire. That's why ready positions, in my estimation, should always be here. Not to mention, this positions my thumb in case I need to trigger my light. So if I'm standing in a position where I've got enough light to be watching a potential problem brewing, and all of a sudden I've got to do something about it, from here I can punch up and light on instantly. As opposed to here, I've got to bring the gun back into a fighting position. So ready position, fire one shot, 1 second. A little bit low, 0.94. There we go. Pretty much dead center, 0.86. Keeper. And the desired time is 0.95 and required time is 1:0. Next one is red position, fire 4 shots. Desired, I think I have 4. Desired is 1.95, required is 2:0 flat. So we set it for 2:0 flat. Ooh, got a hiccup on that first one. It's been a minute since I've run this gun. Hang on a second. 0.83, 149, 168, and the last one, shot 4, was in 186. So I made the desired time, made the required time. Essentially what we're working with here is roughly 8 inches by 10 inches, something like that. So, and all those shots are centralized inside of a very, very tight area. So yeah, that's a keeper. Next one is going to be hanging, fire, 1 shot, 2 seconds. All right, hanging is referring to having the weapon here or even here. It's not this. It's conversational. It's relaxed body position. It's you're just chilling out. It doesn't matter what it is. Remember, guys, this is not a scenario. This is skills, tasks is what this is. But to give you what the scenario is, it's just you hanging out with your rifle, talking with people. And something happens and the rifle has to be immediately brought up and fire your shot. Off to the side. So I made the time, still kept it on the paper, but I don't like that hit. It hits on the edge. So I made the time, almost made the desire. It was 162 and the desired is 160. What you guys saw me do when I brought it up, I fired from here. Even though the rifle is not 12-6 but is canted to the side, this does not matter at this distance. I mean, it just doesn't. This doesn't matter until you get out to like 75 yards. .142. Let's do it. Actually, you know what? Let's tape up, and then we will revisit it. That was that first one, which is a little too far off. This is a piece of cardboard. As you can see, corrugated does really well. This has been on here for several months in the rain, so it really survives quite well. And then this is just a rubber dummy. I don't like to shoot steel because steel up close, you run the risk of catching bullet fragmentation that can open arteries, and I'm out here by myself. And the other thing is, it's just very abusive to the targets. There's no reason to cause that kind of damage to your targets. All right, let's do that one again. Hanging, fire, 1 shot, 2 seconds flat. Ooh, that was good. Dead center. Dead center, 170. Keeper, move on. On target, empty chamber, tap rack, bang. Okay, so round out, bolt forward, loaded mag in place. And the way this one is done is you get a click rather than a bang, and it's tap, run the bolt, fire. So we're going to go ahead and reset that. Oh, and I should clarify, on target means that you're pointing at the threat and the safety is off and your finger's on the trigger, and if you have slack, which is what the SSA does, the SSA trigger, you can also take the slack out. So on target, fire one shot, emergency reload, on target, empty chamber, tap, rack, bang. Slightly left of center, 210. And desired of 220, required of 240. So definitely made the desired. So that means that I'm leaving time on the table and I'm losing accuracy. Now that accuracy is perfectly acceptable because it's inside of that space. But why not put the shot there where I need it to be? So set back up, do it again. Every time you guys see me load, I guess I need to clarify these points because some of you don't know this stuff. The reason I load like an AK, you see me introduce the mag kind of with a forward cant as opposed to straight up and in, is sometimes rounds will advance on the mag like that, in the mag, and it precludes you from getting it in. But if you load it AK style and lock it in, it reseats that round for you. So, and this is not so much a problem with Kydex mag holders like this. Thought I dropped one. It's not a problem with Kydex mag holders because they're molded, so the rounds are not going to advance. But nylon, loose nylon, like bandoliers, your rounds can advance. So it's a good practice to get in. All right, so on target, empty chamber, tap, rack, bang. Desired of 220, required of 240. .205. I'm moving way too fast. I mean, is there such a thing as moving way too fast? I need to just let it go. Those shots are well inside the base of a Coke can. Move on. Forcing myself to slow down is just like, it's like wasted energy. I don't know, man. All right, on target, fire one shot, emergency reload, fire one shot. Ooh, I love this one. Okay, so that's gonna be 325. All right, just as it says, fire one shot, on target, fire one shot, emergency reload, fire one shot. So I've got a round in the chamber already. So I put an empty mag in, push pull, EPC closed. I've got an extra mag here that I can draw from that has ammo in it. I'm ready to go. And this is on target, fire one shot, emergency reload, fire one shot. Oh, the reload should be executed like that, as opposed to trying to get your mag out in this position, because then you end up having to do the wangy doodle. So if you set yourself up for success and have your weapon here, when the weapon fires and goes empty, your mag is more likely to fall from this position as opposed to pointing up. .328. What was my time? Oh, no, I failed. Required is 325. So on target, fire one shot, emergency reload, fire one shot. So I was off. So I'm out here, right? Do it again. Shot's a little low. 313. Set it up again. .336. All right, I restrict myself to about 3 tries. If I don't make the times, I move on. And I did not make the time that time. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. All right, let's see here. On target, stovepipe, pull trigger, clear rifle, fire one shot. Okay, stovepipe. What you do, you take an empty casing. I don't care which way you align it. Couldn't care less. Stick it in. Bolt carrier group goes against it. Charging handle forward. Loaded mag. Oop, in place. On target stovepipe, pull trigger, clear rifle, fire one shot. So basically the way that goes is you're on target, safety off, slack taken out of the trigger. You get a click rather than a bang, tap, turn the rifle, run the bolt, allow gravity to do its thing, which means you're going to have to wait a second. Casing falls out, and you can fire your shot from here. You don't have to come back. You can actually fire from right there if you need to. And that's going to be 3 flat. Two, 3, 3. That one usually isn't that big of a booger to get. Oh, yeah. I didn't turn the run. I didn't turn the gun to the side. I did this as tap rack bang as opposed to malfunction clearance. So now I actually have one in the chamber, and that casing never got out of the way. So pull back ever so slightly, pull this out. There's one in the chamber now. So mag out. Oh, it happens, boys and girls, it happens. This is why you got to get your guns up and you got to work with them. I like leaving stuff like this in, guys, because I want you to understand, I come out here and I put in the work just like you do. A little low, but I'll keep it. 2, 4, 5. Move on. Okay. Ooh, this is the booger, but I'll do it one time for you guys. All right. What this is on target, double feed, pull trigger, clear rifle, fire one shot. All right. Here's how you do this. You take an empty casing, preferably a non-boogered up one, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to do 2 iterations of this. I'm going to pick up 2 casings. Take a casing in good order. Open your chamber. Casing goes in. And then magazine goes right after it. And then bolt carrier group goes forward. And the bolt carrier group comes forward and it catches the next round out of the top of the magazine. And it pushes the next round forward. Not like that. The BCG goes forward and it begins to strip off the next round, and what it comes in contact with is the casing that's in the chamber. I'll tell you what this is about in a second. It comes in contact with the chambered casing and it comes in contact like that. And now this right here has locked your magazine in place, so your magazine is not going to drop out free. It's also made contact with the casing in the chamber, so now you have to so you have to forcefully extract the magazine. My advice to you is keep it in your hand. So you keep the magazine in your hand, and then I don't have to pull this out. Okay, so basically you would, for me, because I'm a lefty, I use the Norgon ambi catch. But you would eject the magazine, pull the magazine, and hold the gun, and run your bolt all the way back, and let it go forward. And what you're after is, what has occurred is, a round has been fired. We're simulating that a round has been fired. The round has left, and whether it be the rim of the casing was out of specification, your extractor spring was fatigued, the edge of the extractor might be a little rounded, whatever, but the point is the extractor has skipped off the edge of the casing rim and has not taken it with it. The next round came up out of the mag and now locked it back in the chamber. So you have to get this source of ammo out of the way and the bolt to go back home again, hoping that it grabs this time, and then cycle it back out again. And it's a minimum of 2 cycles, so it's back, forward, and then mag in, back, forward, fire. And that is all done inside of 7.75. And like I said earlier, I don't like to do this one a lot because it always boogers up rounds, and you'll see what I'm talking about in a second. Okay, I've already got it set up. Let's go. Every once in a while it does that right there. And what it did was, it grabbed the next round and so jammed it into the chamber that it actually pinched up underneath the casing, which is still inside the chamber. So, still there. So that's the empty casing. This is why I don't really like doing this malfunction all that much, because it damages ammo. But I'll do it one more time for you guys, and that round cannot be used. You could, yeah, people can get hurt using a round like that. So, mag in, oh wait, I'm sorry. So it's BCG to the rear, mag in. Oop, I fell out, there we go. Okay, now it's up in there. Give it a whirl. Yeah, did it again. We hammered it in there. Same exact problem as before. The round is hammered up in there, so there's the next ruined round. So yeah, honestly, I think I'm going to write this one out, because it's a malfunction that is such a rarity. Even with crappy ammo and crappy guns, this malfunction is a rarity. And the reason for that is most guns are not fired enough to fatigue anything. Most guns are overgassed, which means they're going to cycle. So those two things working in concert pretty much guarantees that that gun is going to cycle even steel-cased ammo. I put this in there because it is very similar to the on-target double feed, which is handgun, pull trigger, clear pistol fire, one shot. So I wanted to create something comparable for rifle, and I think I'm just going to write this standard out. It's not worth it. All I ever seem to do is just damage ammunition doing this one. So the 13.7 is a rifle that, as you can see, is an easy rifle to work with. This gun does not wear you out because it's a very lightweight rifle. It tends to be a pleasurable gun to work with, as opposed to a gun that just makes you go, oh, jeepers, what a workhorse of a gun. This is the kind of gun that is light enough that if you needed to just wear it for an extended period of time, you could just bring it to the back and just leave it there. And it's not bad. I mean, really, it's not a bad weight of a rifle. It's a pleasure to work with this gun. Unfortunately, well, actually, let me take that back. I think now, with the brace ruling the way it is, I think people are going to start waking up and kind of going back to short rifles again with braces. Man, guys, I hope you understand, this is a generational game that's being played on the American public. I'm 51. My generation, 15 years ago, I mean, we were, oh, they're going to take the guns. Guys, they can't get it done. Even when they have control of the White House and the House, let me put it this way, even if they have control of the White House and Congress, they can't seem to get it done because there's still enough good people fighting, and there will always be good people fighting, guys. They will always be there. So, keep your guns. Keep working with them. I'm going to get out and do the Overland course before I head out of here. It's getting kind of bright and hot. But anyways, I wanted to show you guys why I choose 13.7. Garen Thumb did a great video the other day where he talks about all the different barrel lengths, and I would highly advise you to watch that video, because as I was watching the video, he was pointing out things that I figured out a long time ago, because I've been doing this game a long time. And I'm like, yeah, spot on points. Very, very good. His videos are very well thought out. He has a level of support that I don't have. He has material support, weapon support, ammunition support that I don't have, and I'm cool with that. I thoroughly enjoy his videos, but that brought to mind the comments that I'd gotten from other people about why 13.7, and I really like 13.7 for all the reasons that I laid out for you, and for the biggest of which is this rifle, as is a rifle that I can hand to anybody. A child can shoot this gun. A slight statured female can shoot this gun. A male, who is weak from an injury or medical reasons can shoot this gun. This gun is way easier to shoot than this gun is. This gun requires a lot of work and a lot of repetitions to reach proficiency. An AR-15, I can get you at a level with an AR-15 in about 4 hours that you can pretty much go against anybody with an AR-15 in about 4 hours of instruction, because it looks complicated, but honestly it's not that complicated of a weapon to learn to work with. So get on it, boys and girls. As always, I thank you guys for watching. I thank you for your support of this channel that keeps this channel independent from corporate meddling. I thank you for your sling purchases and your donations. God bless you all. Get those guns out and practice. Have a good one.